The P-40 is one of the most famous American fighters of World War II. Based on the P-36, the aircraft entered service in the US Air Force in 1939 and was built in 19 different versions. The lifetime production of the P-40 was almost 14,000 planes, and they were used in 26 countries worldwide. What is this plane like in the game? Let's have a look. The P-40 is pretty average for its tier. It has no noticeable advantages, but it also has no obvious flaws. This well-balanced aircraft can do wonders in the hands of an experienced pilot. Mobility is probably the weakest aspect of the P-40. It's just not suited for a dogfight. The plane doesn't handle very well, and it turns slowly. The P-40 has less firepower compared to the cannon-armed planes of the tier. Pilots who like to destroy their enemies in one pass will not be very fond of this plane. However, at close range, the 6 high-caliber machine guns allow you to tear your enemies apart while sitting at their rear. When flying at a high altitude, the P-40 has one of the best top speeds of the Tier 5 planes. It is only outmatched by the Yak-1 and HE-100. You should try to stay at a high altitude. The plane loses most of its advantages when flying low and actually becomes the slowest of the tier. The biggest advantage of the P-40 is its durability. It can only be compared to that of the LAGG-3 or the premium P-40 M105. Overall, this fighter is a well-balanced aircraft, and its weaknesses are fully compensated for by its strengths. That's all for the basic parameters. Let's review the research process. The optimal setup goes like this. Research the V-1710-39 first. Then go for the Hawk 87 airframe. This will boost the plane's speed and durability and let you research the 6 Browning M2 machine guns. You should definitely install them. Go for the top V-1710-85 engine afterwards. The M2 machine gun's effective firing range is 600 meters. The accuracy is not very good, so you should try to engage targets at a fairly close range. You can leave researching the 6-mounted M8 rockets till last. Keep in mind that equipping the rockets severely decreases the plane's mobility, even after you've launched them. Let's take a look at speed and altitude. The optimal range is pretty wide. It starts at 600 meters and goes on up to almost 2.5 kilometers. There's no need to climb this high, as it's rare to see someone flying higher than 2 kilometers in fights of this tier. In practice, 1,500 to 1,800 meters will be enough. Try not to get below 600 meters, or you'll lose all of your speed and mobility advantages. That's all on altitude. Let's talk tactics. It's a good idea to climb up to 1.5 to 2 kilometers for the first attack. After the first attack, try to get back to an altitude of 1,000 meters and stay together with the main force of your allies. Your priority targets are slow airplanes and enemies engaged in turning fights. You can intercept attack aircraft on their way to your base, or try and help your allies eliminate approaching enemies. Remember that the P-40 is best suited for vertical combat. Climb up and engage the enemy while diving or passing, and climb back up for another attack. If your team has more fighters than the enemy, you can try and hunt down attack aircraft to protect the ground forces. The plane's speed allows rapid relocation throughout the map. When taking on heavy fighters and attack aircraft, you should never attack them head-on. The P-40's performance allows you to easily circle them in mobile combat. The P-40 is unfortunately useless against ground targets, as the machine guns can't deal any significant damage to them. The plane also becomes a great target for enemy aircraft and the AA guns in this situation. If you get into a higher tier combat, then it's better to stay with a group of allied fighters. This way you can support them as needed or finish off a damaged opponent while staying in one piece. That's all for tactics. Now some advice on flying in a wing. The P-40 is a great choice for team play. It can be used as a support aircraft and as bait. It is best to team up with other light and mobile fighters. Another option is a wing of one attack aircraft and two P-40s. You should stay 1 kilometer away from the ally that acts as bait. Shoot down anyone who tails him. In the end, we can say that the P-40 is a plane for the thinking pilot. It's not the easiest to fly, but those who master it will know the joy of victory.